there's a lot of changes that has happened in last 3 to 6 months. If you're going for interviews or building products, getting hired requires you to have a deep understanding of architectures of Claude Code, Codex work. That's the new trend in 2026. More and more people are going towards production systems and not asking for vibe coded stuff, because these people are little different than the people who are not getting interview calls. And the main difference is these are the people who have shipped or tried a product and actually build one. So if you have not built, and if you can't land concepts with a story, it will take you longer time to get hired in AI. That's a close observation I have made. Welcome again. Thank you for joining. Today we have a lot of cool stuff that we prepared for all of you. So what are we going to cover today? Today's session is most about what has happened in our industry is that there's a lot of changes that has happened in last 3 to 6 months, and I want to bring those to you first of all, because if you're going for interviews or building products, getting hired requires you to have a deep understanding of how these new harness based architectures of Claude Code, Codex work. They are needed for you to design your own products. Also, they are needed for you to leverage the current products. So I think that is becoming the new table stakes. So I will explain what that is and then take questions. Then I will ask you or share about what it takes to build real production scale systems, because that's the new trend in 2026. More and more people are going towards production systems and not asking for vibe coded stuff, because vibe coded stuff is like everywhere. So what is the difference or key differences between a vibe coded product and a production ready product? And I will walk you through a couple of things. I won't build it, but give you enough resources so that you can build a production ready AI powered product. And then hopefully I can release it, or today at least I will walk you through a plan which allows you to master everything that the Claude Code provides, or anything like a harness needs to have to build products. And with an example or day by day, you can follow along to understand all the concepts, but apply it in a way that actually is building a product rather than just learning about concepts. So that's the Uber agenda idea today. We'll go here and there. You will see with me that I'm not tied to these agendas. My goal is to make sure that I can land. And two things I'm trying to land is what are the main things that Claude offers, and how to get ready for an interview or build your stories, so that if you're going for AI PM interviews or you're building AI powered products, at least you know all the concepts, and at least you have gone through one iteration of building a product with these skills or these tools that are becoming table stakes. And most of them, even if you have done my cohort, I can see Mansi here now, will sound a little like which are new. So I think there is a mix of new and what you already know today. So that's what we're going to do today. Before the going that, I want to congratulate most of our people who got into roles. So I think there is a good trend. Uh, every week, I think people are saying that they got roles. So a lot of hiring and a lot of success through our cohort. And you can see uh, these are the people from last cohort only. I think cohort 7 and cohort 8. And I'm not sure I'm sharing my screen, right? Give me
Yes.
yes or no.
Yeah.
Okay, then you have seen more slides than I was supposed to. So,
Yeah, we're seeing a few. Yeah.
okay,
But
great.
we can see the NTT data as an AI engineering manager slide now. So.
Great. I think we are all on the same page. So these are the people who just shared, and we were just getting the numbers. We will share it on our LinkedIn. Almost 50 people that we placed in last 3 to 5 months. And most of them, the common thing that is there that I'm seeing is that these people are little different than the people who are not getting interview calls. And the main difference is that everybody's doing this, which is everybody's studying for interviews, learning framework and memorizing concepts. But the difference between the people who got into roles are these are the people who have shipped or tried a product and actually build one. applying these concepts. So they are, when they are showing up, and if you're joining our cohort bootcamp, I have invited all 8 to 10 of these who got hired like in last 2 months, and they will be sharing how they crack it or how they made it, because obviously the credit goes to them, not me. But the main trend, which I have spoken to all of them because some of them I was helping all along, but the main trend is that when I talk to them or you talk to them, they have a problem. They say that I solved this problem. And then when asked questions, they are landing concepts. This is how I manage context. This is how I applied hooks. This is how I created artifacts in Claude. This is how I saved cost by putting checkpointing. So they have a problem they solved. They shipped a product, and now they can talk about that product, how they've come up with the idea, how they build the first customer motion, which customer technical problems came along, and which Claude concepts allowed them to solve those problems at a speed or solve them in a new way. So the interviewer feels like that they are ready for a new world, and they are sharing secrets which the interviewers don't know. And that, I think, is the essential candidates, or like the candidates which are able to close. These are also getting calls and I think will be successful. But this, if you are able to land this, it just helps you fasten your hiring process. So that's one trend. And then I kept this format where I share a trend. So if you have not built and if you can't land concepts with a story or with a product, I think it will take you longer time to get hired in AI. That's a close observation I have made based on 10 to 12 offers that got closed for our team in last like a month or so. Okay, if that's the case, then let's just understand what are the concepts first, and then hopefully I will give you a plan today which allows you to go and master them with the story. So I have created a plan. Maybe I can release it today, or maybe I will release it in the next, but at least I will walk you through or give you enough. And if you're ready to take a draft version, maybe I can give you one, but it's not perfect, but at least I will give you a plan later. But let's first understand what exactly is happening and what does the harness means and what's inside and what are these terms that people use left and right. So at least we have a common vocabulary, and then we can see how can we learn that vocabulary by applying to a product. Okay. So if you wanted to build agents in 2025 or 2024, 2025, what you did is somebody gave you a model or somebody gave you a GPT like offering, which is GPT-5. You took GPT-5 APIs from Anthropic, GPT-5 API from Anthropic. Anybody can correct me at least. OpenAI. Now we forgot their names, right? I think this will be the biggest disaster of 2025, that people forget OpenAI as a company. Anthropic is all over my head. So they are not in my prefrontal cortex even, right? So, GPT-5, OpenAI, or you took Claude models from Anthropic, or Gemini models from Google, or you took an open source model, and then either you connected this, your own knowledge, you connected it to some kind of memory management from third-party tools, and you connected with your tools, which is your APIs, your plugins with different connectors, and the responsibility of doing these connections, like this task of bringing your own databases, knowledge, how your company works, what are your policies, where your HR documents are. This was your responsibility. Your mean the people who were building agents. So if you are building agents, it's your responsibility to connect the knowledge and then do a lot of evaluations, testing to make sure this knowledge is getting attached when the user asks a question. And only the relevant knowledge is getting extracted. Second, it was your responsibility to handle memory, that if I ask a question and if I ask a follow-up question, you will get the last conversation summary and you will attach automatically to this one. And you keep on building this short-term, long-term memory, like different session type and all. And that was again your responsibility. You were handling the memory piece also, right? You means the agent developed. So if your company is building or shipping agents to anybody, if you wanted to build agent, they will give you an API. and then they will give you an SDK or software development kit, which allows you to manage knowledge, memory, tools, and all, right? And then there are companies like Glean, or you can think of companies whoever build an agent like Zendesk. These are the company which said, okay, we're going to give you an agent. You need not to worry about all this. You just give me all your knowledge and I will make sure that I can answer. You can do Q&A on your company data. So this is like an internal assistant agent that Glean provides you, $10 per subscription. And now your people need not to worry about building this knowledge management yourself. You can just let Glean handle your lot of documentation, and your sales can ask a question and get an answer which is based on your sales data. Make sense? So Glean made a lot of money. It's $1 billion company at this point. Similarly, Zendesk said, I'm going to solve your customer support problems. And then we have SDR companies which said, hey, we're going to give you our sales agent, and the sales agent will have context, will be connected to your HubSpot or Salesforce, and they will make the calls and they will give the right things and put the right things back in. They also made a lot of money, but nobody actually made money using them, but they made a lot of money just selling whatever proposition they were making. Okay, so that's the world in 2024. These are the people who are building these agents. They're taking a model, they're solving for building right tools, memory, knowledge, and putting guardrails. And the world is going gaga. These companies' valuation is going up. Like you can put Harvey here, you can put Legora here also. If you have heard these names, these are all domain-specific companies, which each domain they went in and they try to solve by bringing this scaffolding, you can say, or you can say building the harness. So this is the model, this is the harness. Everybody got the idea of model and harness? Model is an API. I can ask the question. The harness is what knowledge I need to attach to the user question. What memory component I need to add. Which tool should I call? And training that for different things. That was the harness. So this is the model. This is the harness. This is happening from 2023 to 2025. And a lot of companies are building harness. Harvey said they will build the model, but the model was not good enough. So they said, we are not going to build the model. They said, we're going to build the harness. It's a $11 billion company now. Okay. So they go to lawyers and they say, hey, you have documents and all that. You can't build this. A law firm can't build all this. I build it for you. You just tell me what your problems, and this harness will solve this problem. And I will charge you $6,000 per lawyer per month for solving the harness. So who's losing in this battle? Harness, this guy is charging $6,000. And what's their cloud bill per customer? $60. The customer pays $6,000 while Anthropic get paid $60 because they are just get paid for the API calls, right? Like they are getting API, they don't know how much they are charging. So Anthropic got paid $60. And then they can sell as many as licenses, and Anthropic has no clue, right? So what Anthropic, and who is spending most money in this? Harvey spending money in sales, but who's has the largest budget or largest spend on AI?
Anthropic.
Anthropic, right? Anthropic said that to train this model, they are spending $10 billion, north of $10 billion, just one model. Like Sonnet 4.6 and Opus 4.6, Haiku 4.6, that family they released, that's $10 to $15 billion spent. How much money are they making? Any clue? Okay, they made 200 million before 2025 on these. So Harveys of the world are growing 10x, 100x in revenue, while these guys are losing money, $9.8 billion loss they are signing. And in a year, they release two models. So they are signing around $20 billion of losses. Who is covering these losses?
Investors.
Investors, you and me, right? Either you are investing in, if your money is in stock, you are covering for that, or like these cloud providers, or everybody has gone and spent all their money, like AWS, GCP, Meta, they all are raising money because has eaten up all their cash flow or cash reserves because these companies are losing money. So Anthropic says that, hey, this is not fun because Cursor can take our model. Cursor is here, Windsurf is here. And they are saying, hey, these guys are taking a lot of money, our models, building the harness for coding and giving coders, and they are charging around $100 per subscription per person. In a company, they are making $10,000. From that company, we are just getting $100 bill. And they are getting a 10K. This is not in our favor. We can't build the economics in this world. So what Claude did is, what Claude released is something called Claude Code or an Agentic SDK. This is 2025, June last year, this time, right? And what that did is they said, we don't want to be in the business, we want to be in the business of the model, but we're going to give you a harness also, and we can manage context. We can take action, which is nothing but tools. We can run evaluations, and we can keep doing that with compaction and other ideas, memory management. So this is memory management. And you just tell me what your user is having a problem on. Obviously, I have my models in between, but I'm going to do all of it for you. Claude Code or Cowork or Codex, all are saying, you just tell me the problem, and my agentic SDK now does context management, action calling, evaluations, and memory management for you. So I am no more selling you a API or something. I am selling you a product called Code or Cowork, and I will charge you this $20 subscription if you're a consumer, or I will charge you per $20 just to get in. And then I will charge you as much as you use my product, like Harvey was charging, Cursor was charging, and I will solve all your problems end to end. Make sense? So now their revenue is around $2 billion. This was the last number I got from them. Okay. So they are they went on revenue from 200 million to $2 billion because everybody said, I want Code and Cowork. And now everybody's crying their bill is $500 million because every time you call this, they're making a lot of calls to the model and they're charging you premium pricing to solving your problems. What is the advantage for you? Why are people taking Claude Code and Cowork and not going and building their own agents or hiring these folks? This is good, right?
Perfection.
I ask all the
Too
questions.
expensive.
I ask all the questions. I ask all the questions, and then there is mute. Last time you asked a lot of questions, right? And I have to go. So this is my revenge.
Is it support and ownership?
So one is like
Cost control.
Yeah, it's
cost.
support and ownership, I guess. Who owns it now?
Who owns it? Support and ownership. So I think one advantage of using these is that you got a single tool to bring AI, right? Otherwise, what was happening is, okay, sales is getting trained on these sales development representative, Glean. I need to train my legal team on Harvey. I need to do marketing. I have other agent. There is just one tool, and now I can do whatever I want, and can train. I can bring AI to my company. There's a lot of AI FOMO in the world, and this is the answer to the AI FOMO. The FOMO was that how can I use AI to differentiate or build my products and rule in this new world? And this is the answer to it, that you take one tool, you train your teams, and now your sales, your marketing, your legal, and your developers are all using the same tool chain, and that tool chain is available at a $20 price point, at least to get started, right? Means you don't get, by the way, their enterprise plan, $20 doesn't give you a single token. It's just an entry ticket. And after that, you pay as you go, right? So $20 is not the cost which you get. You're getting pretty much free when you are paying $20. If you are in an enterprise and have buy an enterprise, your plan is like every day your people are burning around $200 to $2,000. One person, if they're actually using it to solve real problems. So that's the bill we are seeing in our side when we are deploying these tools. But at least you can get in and you can give a single tool and you can automate or build AI first companies, AI first advantage you can gain. That's what people are getting or seeing when they are deploying these tools. Good? Everybody same page? Okay, so this made this possible, this made this revenue possible. So now harness is part of this deal. Now the problems are that how can I configure a generic tool for different users? So now let's say will be this. Now this is an operating system, right? So this is the operating system for AI. It's becoming a generic thing. And now the operating system, but operating system need to be configured because sales have a very different need of a tool, right? Sales have a different needs. Sales processes are different than engineering.
Who do we do
They
the
both are
sales for
using
AI?
this tool, right? So I have a workflow in sales. I want to automate it. I'm using Cowork. I have connected it to HubSpot, and I have connected it to my sales guy calendar. And before the call, they automatically get a summary and what to sell, what not to sell to this particular customized advices. I can build that with Cowork, but sales need to configure this with their own understandings, right? And that's where a few things came along. There is this idea of Claude.md. Then there is this idea of skill.md. Then there is this idea of hooks. What problem they are solving? They are solving the problem of customization to different departments or different people at different level. So what is Claude.md? What is skill.md? What are hooks.md? So let's discuss that. Claude. So earlier, if you were building that agent or this harness, your job was to provide a system prompt. Anybody remember those days? Prompting 101? System prompts? What is the difference between user prompt and system prompt?
User
Global
prompt is a
versus
user query, and the
So
system
user
prompt is
queries, I send a message and I say, hey, give me my sales brief for this call. Sales brief for my next call in my calendar. That's a user prompt. Great. And let's say I build an agent just for sales. Let's call it my SDR. And I send this query to my SDR. Then what would be the system prompt for it?
your SDR. It'll have a role. It'll have some instructions around how the application should behave.
the policies
Style,
and the
you
document that
did the
needs
codes,
to.
right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay, it will have. I was like, this is like this looks like that. This is like I give this example of this basketball team which all got trained in my stage, and then all of them have this unique way of shooting that they always played, and when they played basketball, they never looked at the ball, and they all have that specific style, and that was the specific style of that coach that teaches in this particular village, and I digged that up. So I was like, okay, even if you don't turn on your cameras, I know that this is that style. Okay, got it. Good answer. Got it. So this will have a role that, hey, you are a sales agent. Your job is to get this. Your goal is to achieve these things. Here is your instructions. Here is what you need not to do. Here are your checks. Right? So these are system prompts. I shared it during the course, or somebody can give everybody. There is a GitHub where you can see system prompts for all the agents like Claude Code, Gemini. Somebody just leaks them up. So you can see how they are putting behind the scenes what is going on. But now my problem is that if I go here, this was for a sales agent, I can write this. But then with Claude Code, someday sales calls this. The developer comes and says, refactor this code. So this is the dev, this is the sales, and legal has their own idea, right? So I need different system prompts based on different people. Make sense? So this part, role and goal, or little bit of these instructions, generic instructions, what I do is I will ask the users to create a Claude.md file where they can put their own. So sales will create in the sales folder. You will write your Claude.md and you will write sales specific instructions and sales target. Then your sales Claude.md will have this and it will be in sales folder. The dev can have dev Claude.md, right? And now what this harness does is every time a user comes, they ask you to attach a folder. They say, hey, can you tell me a project or a folder? In that folder, they automatically put this inside the system prompt. Whatever you put in Claude.md, they put it here. So now they made a generic agent with this Claude.md idea.
चेंज करूं क्या मैं?
हाँ, change कर देना चाहिए. Can everybody mute? Okay. They want me to change, so let's go to skills.md.
No. She was sorry, Mahesh. I unmuted. I was about to ask you one thing. This is the old days C programming, and we writing the library, and then that is what similar to that we are doing here, like
Correct. These are
Claude.md.
coders, right? The ideas are always same. It's bell bottom or tight legs. It's just different ways to sell you. Okay. So
Yeah.
nothing changes, right? It's just a new way of doing it. So
Okay.
now
Thank
what
you.
I can do is, if with I have Claude.md, I will ask you to write a Claude.md. And if you wrote the Claude.md, I can have it at a system level, which I will attach to everything the company does. So this is what your IT can do or your CEO can write. And then each team can write their own in their folder. And I will make sure that this is added when you or any sales guy comes in. I add this one, the company one here, and then I add the sales folder one, whatever is attached in your folder, right? So now I have this problem solved. Then the second problem was that each team, each tools, those guys, remember the Harveys of the world? Harvey's, Glean, or like any SDR company or any customer support company, they solve specific problems, right? So Harvey said, here is my thing for key term extraction. This is for merger and acquisitions. Okay, this is my redlining tool. By the way, you can call me also. I build the same agent also. So not Harvey. Harvey's little popular and charges more than me. So, but I also had these. So now I had these capabilities, right? I can do, my agent does these three things. It can extract terms from your contract. It can find risk, which is find risk in a contract for you and tell you what to sign, what not to sign. And it can maybe draft or create new contracts. So these are the capabilities of these guys. Good. Now, and somebody built these capabilities. Now my team is building these capabilities, right? So let's also add in plugins just for fun. Okay. So my team is building these capabilities. So now, if I don't buy them, how can my team build these skills in-house and publish for others? My legal team can build the drafting skill, key term, redlining skills. So they said, let's introduce this idea of skills where you can create a workflow or a job and make it perfect. And once it's perfect, you can publish it as a skill. So I will create a skill called contract drafting. And I can create the instructions, the best instructions, these ones, the instructions on what to do if you're drafting a contract, what not to do, what are the different checks, how to evaluate. All these I wrote, I can write, or one time I can write and make it work. And then I can give it to our sales team to draft their own contract, or I can give to my clerk, I can give to some junior lawyers, but I want to distribute them, right? So the idea of skills is you write a set of instructions and then you say this is a skill and publish it as a skill. Good. So now I can have a role goal of sales and I can have a list of sales skills, which is a closer skill, which is a note skill, which is getting advices or summary of call skill. And now I can publish this, and everybody in my company can just say, hey, draft a contract/contract draft, and then give me instructions. And then I will load the best contract drafting instructions which the company has published. So that's the idea of skills. Now I have to distribute these skills, right? So I created 10 skills for legal, but I want to give it to everybody. Maybe inside the company I want to give, maybe I want to make money and I want to give it to the world. So how can I solve that problem? What will I use if I'm using the new world in 2026? Interview questions, guys. You will be all getting into interviews. So now I have Claude, which makes me build a generic agent, but help me customize. I can build skills, which are the jobs we do repeatedly inside a company, and publish them as skills. But then I want to give it or package it, and I want to distribute it so you can install it.
Is it project?
Tool? Is it tool?
Take me little.
Agents. Create an agent.
Who said plug in 10 points? Then they said, let's introduce plugins. What is plugins? Plugins is nothing but a way to install skills or tools that you have built. So now I can create skills and I can package them as a plugin and I can distribute it. Good. Then connectors are also coming. Just follow along. Next is connectors. Okay, you can keep throwing every term. I will
In
just
the
now
making.
able to put it. Okay, yeah, it's in the kitchen. Okay,
Is in
the
the
next
making.
one. Okay, plugins we got. So we got Claude.md because I want to give different teams different instructions and a company-wide policies. Then I can solve problems and push them as skills. Then I can package them and distribute it inside the company or everywhere. That's plugins. Then what I want to do is also, I realize that I have workflows that I want to go and run, which are static. Half of the world is not AI, right? The skill is mostly an AI thing, right? You write, hey, model, do this, instructions and all that, and get a job which a human was doing earlier, like a drafting. But then you have instructions before and after, which is like, hey, if somebody asks for a contract, make sure you know what type of contract you are building. Make sure you ask them for a sample contract. Make sure this happens. If you build the contract, it needs to be in this format. This is our format. This is our template, which is a rule-based thing, right? Just structure it. There's no AI in it. So how can I create workflows? If you saw NA10, anybody used NA10 here? At least the people in cohort say yes. Just give them FOMO for people who have not
Yes.
taken it.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Very, very comfortable.
Great, great. Yeah. This is like, now don't oversell it. Okay. So tools like Anyten are popular not for their AI. I think they made a lot of investment in the agentic. But the real problem, if you look at all the Anyten or any flow you build, it has a lot of structured thing, like read this from Gmail, publish this here, create a document. That formal rule-based system, how can you build rule-based flows? And those are hooks. So they have hooks which allows you to say, do this before every time my session start, do these 3 things. Every time user sends a query, do these 4 things. Every time you are done, check these 5 things. So anything that you want to do deterministic, that's your hooks. Same page. So now I have a plethora of things. I have Claude, I have skill, I have plugins, I have hooks. And now, once I have this, I want to interact with the world. I want to insert into some third-party tools. I want to take it from the tools. I want to go and build stuff, right? With other tools, like I want to access documents. I want to go write in HubSpot. I want to read it from NetSuite. If you want to get done Gmail, calendar, all those are your tools are becoming your connectors. Tools, connectors, MCP, all are one and the same thing in this world. So then they said, hey, we already have this MCP server, give them as connectors. So every connector is nothing but an MCP server. MCP server is nothing but your APIs that your company has or some third-party provider provides, like calendar provides APIs to update a calendar, read a calendar. They just morph it and give it access to your action piece. Make sense? I think you got enough. I can take 2 questions. And then what I want to show you is 2 things. One is maybe just one thing. Okay, there are 16 concepts like this. I want to walk you through all these 16 concepts. I will give you the resources in Claude official documentation, how you can read more about them. And then I will give you a project which you can build day by day. And if you build that project, you will understand all these 16 concepts. You need not to read any of influencers out there or anybody. And if you do those 16 days and if you do that exercise, you will know more than people at Anthropic knows. Okay? Can we do that? Okay, hold on to your questions. Let's do that. And then my team will tell me that I should have taken questions. But let's do that. I think that's more interesting. Or should we take questions? Maybe Angad is here, so we'll take questions. Only Angad and Neha, and then we'll let go, okay? And maybe one question from who followed my instructions, which is put their questions on chat. Okay, 3 questions, and then we go through this plan that I created. Okay, I spent like last night 90 minutes in thinking how can I empower you all to be where I am, or at least people who are iterating on the next line are. And hopefully, I think nobody has a plan like this. So hopefully this becomes success, and I'm going to iterate on it. I will release the final product next week. By the way, I'm doing another session next week, so please come for that. And then I will give you the plan, but maybe I give you today if you reach out. Okay, then Angad, Neha, and then one question from chat that Arjita can raise. Angad, go ahead.
Thanks, Mahesh. Quick one. So now that harness is so powerful, are we going to see specialized tools like the Harveys of the world because companies can personalize their solution to any level? Also,
Yeah,
where would you
so
put commands in your
I was talking to
bifurcation?
people at Harvey and people like Harvey, right? And their hypothesis is that, hey, there are still a lot needs to be done. You get the harness, but the skill that you create for drafting or reading or write an arbitration clause for a lawyer is not very accurate. And they are saying the law firms are not going to make that investment. And because their harness is better than so now their job is to prove to the world that their harness is really superior than the harness that they can build themselves. Although at least Kirkland is not buying that. Kirkland just made a $500 million investment and brought Palantir in. So they are bringing a service company to say that let's build this in-house. But Kirkland can do it because Kirkland is the largest, biggest law firm ever created in the history of Earth. But what about like the 10,000 other smaller law firms? And I think they will rely on Harvey. That's their hypothesis, right? I don't know whether it will be true or not, because the challenge is each time these guys are iterating, they are seeing everybody's data, and they have already released a plugin, which I will show you in a second. They have released their legal plugin, which they are giving these skills out of box also. They're quite crappy, I agree, but this is their worst iteration. They will keep iterating. And then I think a service company on top of it, which has a legal background, can do what Harvey has done. So that's their one hypothesis. The second hypothesis Harvey-like companies are going is that, hey, how can you go and now build a model? Because they don't see a differentiation here. So Harvey is saying, you're going to take my harness, I'm going to take your model. Harvey is big enough to say that we're going to build a legal specific model, which will be Anthropic on legal domain. And that's their moat now. Remember, we discussed it, right? That there are 3 ways to build moat. Build the moat in harness. And if nothing works, go build the moat in the model by retraining the model, pre-training the model, or building your model from scratch, right? So they have realized there is no moat left in the harness if this iteration is going to continue with the pace and accuracy. So they are saying we're going to build the moat in the model. So that's their new strategy. go two-pronged, sell to smaller law firms where they can't build the harness themselves, even on top of these tools. So be their consultant through Harvey and work with Cowork. And second is build a model. So worst case scenario, we have at least one wedge left, which is we build this model if we are successful. Right. So that's the kind of strategy playing out. Neha.
Mahesh, quick thing on the skills one. So in a company like mine, startup, like we have done some skills to distribute it with the teams. Now the suggestions comes back from operations on skills, right? And then everybody's trying to do their own version. How do we still control it within one person? Is there a way? I don't know.
Yeah. So the way is the plugin, right? So legal should own the legal skill plugin. Like the developer, everybody can, like when I worked at Facebook, everybody can contribute to everybody's code. Every code base is open. But the team that builds the like button or like algorithm owns the code base. They are the one which publishes and finally take the PR, right? Similarly, in your ownership wise, you can't sell skills. You have to sell plugins, and every plugin needs to be owned by somebody inside your team. And you can contribute to that plugin. The companies have not matured yet because they just got subscription. Like all this is 3 months old, right? So they got the subscription, they got the cloud, everybody's building their skill and wasting a lot of tokens. Your job as a product manager or as a centralized AI distribution company, which we are trying to become and we are helping other customers reach there, is you build a strategy and then you say who owns what plugins. Legal own legal plugin. Inside legal, this team owns the drafting plugin, this team owns this. And anybody can contribute, take their plugin, make the updates, do a check-in, which I will show you how to do in the project that I'm trying to build so that it's a formal way. And once you have the plugins, then you don't have this distribution problem, right? Because these plugins automatically update. They have everything what the software cycle had.
So can it still go through a review process like a PR? So I distributed a skill, you had a suggestion, comes to me, I review.
So your code is, the plugin is basically skill.md and skill.man is managed in GitHub. So anybody can send a new pull request to it. And then you will, if you accept it, then everybody gets a new skill. But testing and making sure that it works is your responsibility, not their, right? Because they can fix for their use case, but for main use case, it doesn't work. Then you can say that, hey, you take the plugin and you can override with your skill. And your team can use your skill, but we are not changing the plugin.
But they can also override at their end if they want.
Correct. Yes. That's their skill.md, right? So they can have the same skill.md, and if it is in their folder, we will use their skill.md and not what got installed by the plugin.
Got it. Makes sense. And this will come in a lab in the next class?
Right now.
Mahesh, quickly, there are a lot of requests. If we can just sidestep so they can take a quick screenshot of the board. So,
really?
That? And
Is this that important?
Apparently, yes.
People don't want Mahesh, only the whiteboard.
They're like,
there are a lot of requests in the chat.
This is like, I hate the artist, but I love the art.
And
no.
Also,
you stand there. We will take you as a selfie picture for you.
Okay, great.
And after Neha, Ritvik can go because he was kind enough to put questions in the chat. So Ritvik,
Ritvik gets an advantage, and then I need to move on. I will stay back a little bit. I have a call at 10, but let me just walk you through the deck. So you have all the material and everything in the deck. So at least I want to walk you through and give you a plan, because this is all interesting talk. I think this is interesting, and maybe I unblocked something in your head, but the work is there to be done on your part, right? And I want to land that work. So Ritvik, and then give me like 10 minutes to close this today. Ritvik.
Okay, thank you. So I recently found this out, so I want your take on it. How interesting is it that on Claude Code, you can actually change the model to a non-Claude model to something like a GLM 2.5? So basically, like, then is the comparison of Claude Code to a cursor, and structurally, where does that land?
Yeah, so the idea was this, right? That now they became the harness. They have the knowledge, they have the memory, they are giving you the connectors, and they're giving you the system prompt also, right? Which is through the Claude.skills or plugins, right? And they put guardrails and evals also. Now, this is the model piece, right? The model piece can be Sonnet by default because they want to make money on Sonnet. But if you replace that, which you can do with GLM 5.2, which by the way, we are giving a lab also. So you can use our lab to replace your models we are giving it to all our customers because they run into quotas. And after that, we are saying, fall back to GLM 5.2. So set a quota every day, $20 for your team. And if that goes over, this is 30x cheaper model than Sonnet or 300x cheaper than Opus. So fall back to this model. And yes, it works. But the challenge is that all the testing and the quality, right, you were getting through Sonnet, that degrades with GLM 5.2 or Jimmy or anybody. And at this point, enterprises have a lot of money, and this is a lot of like ROI creation. So they don't want to take that risk. But you will see more and more of that, Ritvik, as you go along. So master that skill, and you will see that people will have their own custom models. This is the first time, an exciting time because of what you observed, Ritvik. You will see more and more these open source becoming more popular. The platforms like Together, Fireworks becoming more popular because this is the first time there is a harness problem that's getting solved, and now models are replaceable, right? Otherwise, you don't have a choice if you use Harvey to change the model to GLM 5.2 and pay less to Harvey. Makes sense? You can't change the model for Glean, right? But now you can because you own the harness, right? And if you own the harness, then you can change the model. And if you change the model, you can get 30x lower. And now you can run some tests, and at least for at least 10 tasks you do with AI, maybe 5 tasks can be done with high accuracy using GLM5. You can default it to GLM 5.2 for all those 5 tasks and use the same cowork tool, same Claude Code tool, right? No changes in user experience, but behind the scenes, you lowered the cost by 30x. This is where people are saying model routing and model choosing is going to be the next frontier for AI tools, and this will come in built.
So for an Anthropic, now they need to show clear-cut differentiated value on the cowork and code as well. They can't just rely on the fact that you get access to Claude models on it.
Correct. So now the challenge is like when you are a challenger, you come up, you make the bets which are not the incomes have, right? So if you're OpenAI never said that we're going to give you an open model and Claude Code can work with any other model. But when Anthropic released Claude Code, they were the challengers, and the best model was GPT-5. So they said, hey, Claude Code can work with GPT-5. Now they are here, they got the market, but they can't go back and say, hey, but Claude Code won't work with any other model, right? So that's the tension. But right now, it's not a threat. They are saying at least people will go with the thing that I provide first. And I can figure out the economics of solving this problem later, right? That I will lower the cost, I will beat them on the cost, I will make them out of business because I'm still getting funding, right? So, and at some point they might start charging for the harness also. Who stops them, right? Because at least you're getting sticking, there is a sticking point to Cowork and Claude Code, which you're paying $20 anyways, right? So they are getting paid for the harness, and they can increase the point pace of the harness. If they say more trend out towards people using the model, then I can say the harness is $200. And you have no way to run your business now because you have hooked everything to Claude Code or Cowork. I can charge you 2000, right? And the model becomes a commodity, but the harness becomes a thing. If harness is the thing, right? We don't know yet. Okay, folks, just stay with me. Give me 5 more minutes. I worked on some other art piece that I want to give you, and I thought that's what I'm iterating. By the way, when I don't teach, which I get like 2 to 3 weeks in between, uh, I iterate on a lot of things, and this is something I'm cooking. So I want you to bring into my world and see what it is and give me feedback. Is it resonating or not? So just give me 1 second. Where is my deck gone now? So just give me all neuron sales deck. Nobody wants that. Okay. Can you see this? And now I need to somehow arrange this back. I had it pretty looking, but the pretty looking one is lost. So I think it's in view and go to mode, a grid view. Let's see. I learned it today only. I think we are so slow in things. Okay, great. So now we got here. So let me walk you through where I left you in the deck. Can you all see my screen? So two things you need to learn. One is building production scale systems, which I didn't cover today because I take more than what I could chew. So this is what I wanted to cover. Also, what it takes to build with Claude Code, front and back end database, AI observability. Then there are ideas of context action evals. You all discussed it. Yes or no, feedback and iterate. Here is a compaction or memory piece also. So that's that idea. This is from their documentation. I gather context, I take action, I verify work, I keep on going. This is the agentic loop that people are talking about. Then there is this idea of how Claude Code works. It gather context. These are the things that it uses for action taking. It uses these 4 things, and then it has verification of work. This is the further double click into their documentation on how they are doing these 5 things. So I think all of you should know these. Read the documentation. I provided the link. Okay. If they do that, then how can you build real applications which are production scale? There is a lab that we did in this cohort. If you have not done it, the link is here. This helps you first build a design. It helps you build authentications. It helps you connect the databases, and it helps you build a production ready app that you publish with a domain and backend runs in AI Foundry. If you run it in AI Foundry, then you can get evaluations which are production ready. You get observability. You can see the traces, how much each session is costing in tokens, what is the cost, what is the evaluation results. And if you go, you can also see other metrics, which I'm not going to double click today, but hopefully in next session. If you want to go learn this, here is the week by week plan that we're going to cover in our cohort that is coming up next week. July 5th is the first welcome session for that. Here I will talk about what is the foundation, how to build your code, Claude skill and design.md files, how to build memory tool and connectors using Agentic SDK, and how can you build secure end-to-end backend and front end using Claude Code. Then I will go and build your data layer, which is building your brain using data lakes and how to collect data from different sources and build your analytics on top of your data and put all the data from every call your company is making or you are making, and then how to parse it to solve real skill and problems. I will also show you how can you create awesome CVs or LinkedIn profiles to get job, and how can you build AI product stories based on the job. So we will do a workshop on that. And then I will combine and show you how can you automate weekly business reviews or planning decks, building or creating roadmaps based on the data layer that you created. And last, we will connect this to AI Foundry, bring you observability, but I will also share how can you crack AI product sense and technical interviews. And I will help you, we will get you to Rollstack, which is a company that Charu built from our cohort, which helps you automate your finding, customizing, and applying for jobs. And she ensures that you are the first one that applies to the job. But coming back, you heard about Claude Code, you have an idea of harness, but how can you go get ready? These are the concepts you need to go understand, which is Claude. And then this is the use case. We're going to take a legal use case because I have a deep understanding because I'm iterating on that use case for a while. So what I thought is if I have to redesign Harvey or any in-house tool which I build, and I have to build on top of Claude Code or Cowork, how I will build. And I created this day by day plan. And it's solving the problem of drafting contracts, finding risk in the contracts. Once you sign the contract, monetizing the contract, and then handling a life cycle. So you're building
I
a
don't think
whole
anything.
AI.
Can you please go for a shower?
Let's go for a shower. Now that's the plan. If you want to build this, here is a day by day plan, which I created by spending a lot of time, or I'm still iterating on it. So it's not perfect. But here is the idea. You're building a contract IQ, which is a AI native CLM. What it does is it solves the problem of drafting, redlining, extraction, and lifecycle management of a contract, which is putting your contract key terms in HubSpot, making sure you can track obligations or do compliance, and you can give alerts if a contract is expiring to your sales team to ask for renew and all. So whatever ironclad or draft folks do, you will build a whole AI native CLM in 16 days. These are the concepts phase phases wise what you will build, and this is how you will build it. Day one, you will learn about these three concepts, which is you will install Claude and build your Claude.md file. Day three, you will learn about context and how to manage context by compacting clearing. Day 4 and 5, you will build skills. Then you will go and package these skills with hooks and plugins. And then you will create sub agents so that you can parallelize the work. Then you can build connectors and MCPs. Then you will create this, what Neha was asking, connected to GitHub and make sure that your skills, plugins, and all these are updated and distributed. And then you will go and create connectors and build end-to-end workflows with hooks, Slack, and remote control. And then you will bring security and best practices and dashboards as artifacts. Okay. This is the details of that plan, which is these are the lessons you need to read. This is the problem. And this is the build exercise that you need to do. So you can follow it day by day. And if you follow it, you will be able to have your own story that I build an AI native CLM. And we will launch this, by the way, on our common, and we will build customers on top of this AI native CLM. So first, you will have story of building something which is a real problem. And second, if you build it or contribute to this project, you will be able to work with real customers to deploy this. And now I don't think anybody can stop you to become an AI native PM or AI native builder because you have done the whole 9 yards, which is you came up with the idea, you created a PRD, you created a whole product, and you did the motion with customers, and you iterated on it, and you build it on top of the latest, greatest harness. Okay. So should I release this today or should I wait for next time? I think we should wait one more week. I'm still working on this. I got the first line, but I need to put more work into it. So means we will release this one today. What we will give you is like all the lessons and what you need to read on the concept side, but it will not have this section. And I will give you this day by day plan and the open repo where we have gone ahead and tested everything. And yes, it works next week. Sounds good? If you show up next week, I will give you from here. But today you can at least take this much and start reading all these. All these are official concepts and official documentation. But I think the real deal is that when you start applying this. Okay. I can't take any questions now. Mohalis, last one for you because you did not lower your hand. But I need to go because the other call started and this is a customer call. So I need to go. But hopefully this was useful. And if you are interested, then this is the next session. We will be doing what I couldn't do today, which is how can you use Claude Code to build an end-to-end spec-based tool. Please join that session by using this QR code right now. Otherwise, I won't show up. No, I will show up. Don't worry. It will be late July, right? 3rd July, huh? A holiday, but we'll show up. We'll do the session anyways. This is our course. In this course, I told you we're going to do a lot of stuff that I talked today, but we're going to land it with a lot of examples and we'll build end-to-end stuff using Claude and we will empower you with latest stories and use cases. So please do not miss this one. This is really special to me because I am redesigning it for the 2026 world. And we have special pricing if you have done our cohort. Habiba might have already reached out, so I need not to talk about it. But if you want to join first time, this is the last coupon that we are giving. Hopefully, we will close this Monday. And after that, there is no discount. So if you joined our cohort and if you want to see me iterate on these ideas and actually build it and make you ready in 5 to 6 weeks, then please join us with the 30% coupon here. And that is it. By the way, Brian, he's my friend from Google and Meta, and he wrote an awesome guide, which I loved on cracking AI PM interviews on product sense, not AI, but normal product sense. He will be a guest speaker for our upcoming session. Our favorite Charu will be there again. But I'm looking forward to Brian's session. He teaches how to track or build your product sense and crack product sense interviews. He doesn't teach a course. He works at DoorDash now as a PM lead, but he worked at Google and Meta, and he wrote an awesome guide, which I read internally at Meta, and I will see if he can give it to all of you for free if you join the cohort. So these are the 2 guest sessions. Please join our Slack. That's where we will be sharing a summary of this session and all the links and every update Mahesh builds. So please join our Substack community using this link. And that is all. Thanks a lot.
Mahesh, where is this link that you showed of the document? Like we're going to
Ah.
find the one version you're going to give today.
Yes, so that will be here on this slide, but give me 5 minutes. Let me just remove this last piece, but that will be here.
We will send in the recap email so everyone can
Recap email.
have it. Yeah.
Perfect.
Look at that. The team is very structured now. Mohalis, do you have a question for me? I need to go because my team is
Yes,
pinging me from the other side. They're saying, save me, save me. They know nothing to talk about. So they're like, save me, the customer is here.
yeah,
Mohalis.
yeah, I'll keep it short. You brought up Harvey as a good example that we kept using here. Did you see the latest research about open evidence and how pretty much all the new models beat open evidence in medical diagnostics and basically in what it was supposed to specialize in? And I want to see if that changes the narrative of these specialty harnesses with their own post-training data or RAG. It is still the way to go.
Yeah, I mean, that's the hypothesis, right? So right now we were told a story that we have to rely on somebody else to go build it. But the story might be that you can build it yourself and you will beat somebody who is claiming that they have the best solution for you on your stuff. So that I think is a hypothesis that's playing out, while the other side is saying that's not possible. We need to say how it will play out. It's a little easier to do it on a benchmark on and claim success either way for both of you, like the company like Harvey's or these medical companies, or for people to go and say it for a little small sample set. But I think when you scale it and when you try to deploy and when you take targets on AI agents, it's just that you are looking for a solution. So don't know how will it play out yet. Okay. I know this is a larger discussion, Mohalis, so
Yeah,
come
it
next
is.
time and I will take it. We'll take it next time, right? I will make sure that I start from where I leave you today. But everybody who joined today, thanks a lot. We'll send everything by email. It's such a pleasure. And thank you for giving me your time. I know
Thank
it's
you. Thank
a
you.
very precious time that you spent
Thanks
with
a
me,
lot.
and we don't take it lightly. I hope I added something to you, and we'll keep adding life. This is the fun piece of having this community. I will see you again
You picked
next
up.
Friday.
You did,
Bye,
Mahesh.
team.